Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Comic Flipper and this is Collectors Club Comics. Welcome to the club. And, like always, I'm here with the one, the only, Buddy Nature. And today, we are going to be talking about Gideon Falls. Now, for this one, I actually had to write notes.
So did I.
We actually have a good one for you today.
Yeah. There's the new horror series from Image Comics, and oh boy, these are just some of the more promising stuff I've seen from Image Comics lately. And from the people that brought you Spawn, I mean, it's really hard not to want to read the horror stuff they come out with.
Right, yes,
Yeah.
it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's why today we're going to be discussing Gideon Falls, and let's begin.
Yeah.
So, we meet our main character, whose name is Norton. We actually find out his name is Norton. He's getting these urges to go through the trash. When he goes through the trash, he sees like these fragments or samples, as he calls them.
Yeah.
And they like almost call out to him. They like glow red or something. And
Yeah.
what they are, they're always just...
Usually it's splinters of wood, hinges,
Yes.
shards of glass. There's also, as we find later in the book, nails. And they all have something in common, is that they're like used for construction. But they're all very specific fragments. And he's digging through heaps of garbage a lot of the times to find them.
It seems like these fragments are actually a part of something bigger, like it was once something.
Yeah, maybe they were scattered a long time ago, but yeah, they're all over. I mean, not necessarily all over. Remember, because at a certain point he says that there's actually a pattern going on.
Yeah, it's weird. It just basically when he gets called out, he gets these feelings and he starts going through the trash, and he usually finds what he's looking for.
Yeah.
And he puts them in those jars with the labels that we discussed.
Yeah, we see them on a large bookshelf.
Yeah.
And after he's done collecting them, he does this really weird thing. He says the Lord's Prayer in its entirety, and closes with an amen. And then we cut to.
We actually find our second main character, who goes by the name of Father Quinn. Now this guy, he gets sent out to Gideon Falls because they tell him, you messed up in the last spot you're at, because he didn't want to go out there originally, did he?
He didn't, but he said that. Well, the bishop said that the town is not doing great without a priest, and that Father Tom was the old priest, but he mysteriously died. Well, not mysteriously, but we don't know the details yet. That he is needed out there. They don't need someone who can preach, they need someone who can lead.
Yeah, and this guy, Father Quinn, he actually does have a questionable past.
He does.
He seems to be an alcoholic just from the first couple panels we see him.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is about that whole little alcohol scene is like they show that barn, and I can't tell if it means anything now.
It's definite foreshadowing.
But
it is definite
they
foreshadowing.
show a barn and he pulls out his little flask and starts drinking, which you go over it the first time, it doesn't seem that weird.
And he's driving, which is very irresponsible.
Right. But yeah, it just seems like a little, it's cool. But
it definitely sets the tone of what's going to happen later.
Right.
Yeah.
So once Father Quinn gets to the town, he meets up with this lady named Jean Tremblay, and she has a hook hand, like the amputees, and they got the hook hands.
And this woman is the head of the women's council at the church, the Catholic Church, and she's actually taking him to his rectory where he's going to stay.
Right. And at that point, she's asking him, can I make you tea? Can I do this? Can I get you this?
She actually wants to grab his bags, and I think he feels bad because she's got his hand.
Yeah. So, but she's being like overly hospitable.
Yeah,
and
she
just
says she's the welcome wagon.
Right. And so, after continuously, saying, hey, can I get you this? He says, no. I'm okay. I'm just gonna go to sleep.
But there is one thing he wants.
Yeah, he does say as she's walking out, he stops her and says, actually, I do have one request. And what he asked her was he wanted to know what happened to Father Tom, the last priest, or more specifically, how he died.
And she shuts down. She says, he was like a father to me, I really don't want to talk about it. And she says, well, I guess I'll see you at Mass, and out of there.
Right, yeah. And then she leaves. So, after that, it basically cuts to our third character that we meet,
Well, not third, but like, the third main.
I'd say third main,
Yeah.
right? Yes.
Dr. Zoo.
Dr. Zoo, who is the hot Asian doctor.
Clean gold.
And she is basically talking to Norton, and she's telling him if he doesn't control his condition better, that she's gonna actually make him an inpatient again.
Yeah, we find that he has actually been committed before.
Yes.
And that she sees all the progress they're doing unraveling, so it concerns her to the point where she's actually willing to recommit him.
Yes, which he basically is like, okay, I understand. And Norton, if you forgot, is the guy who's going through the trash and finding all these fragments.
Yeah.
So then, what happens after she's talking to him? They're having that conversation about him getting better.
Yeah, and
then
she asks him, you remember the meditation stuff we've said? And remember the fact that you can give anything meaning if you obsess over it. And he's agreeing with her. He's basically giving her lip service, because as he's walking out, he gets his little twinge, and we actually see the first red piece in the series. It's a nail.
Yeah.
And he goes in.
It's almost.
Remember, he says, "I have control over this."
As he's picking it up.
It's
up. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and you know that he has no control over
Yeah.
this. He can't control what he's doing.
That's awesome. And what I love too about the story is like, well, I mean, just like with most comics, but like, I totally see this, like the way I read it and how I see everything. It's honestly like a movie to me.
It is.
It's
and
almost
it
like
tastes
just
so well.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Okay, so after that, what happens? It cuts to.
Well, then after that, it goes to Father Tom.
Not Father Tom.
Actually,
No.
my bad.
Father Quinn.
It cuts back to Father Quinn, and he's going to sleep, basically sleeping, and all of a sudden, he's awakened by this voice.
Yeah.
That's like, hey, wake up.
Before he knows I'm gone.
Yeah.
And who do we see?
It's Father Tom.
It's Father Tom, and I'm just gonna. I have to pull it up for you guys. It is just the creepiest shit.
Very creepy.
Yeah.
It's very, very.
So
awesome.
imagine you're sleeping. Imagine you're sleeping in a church of all places, and this guy wakes you up.
Look at that.
That is
And
a-
his eyes are all widened out. and
That is a
everything.
red priest with white, dead eyes, basically squatting over you, telling you to wake up to follow him.
So the cool part about it, if
Yeah.
you could open that one more time,
Yeah.
is he actually, in fact, tells him, hey, come follow me. He's kind of like, what are you doing here? And he just runs out the room. Where at that point, he just starts following him. And
After he
leads
puts
him-
pants on, of course.
Yeah. He leads him out of his quarters, out into this field. Whereas, we'll show him the next page. Because I like to show you this part right here because ultimately it's the wrap up, it's the ending, and it's just very awesome.
Yeah. So we have basically it's the private journal of Norton, and he's saying that he's finally he is getting a deeper understanding of what he's actually doing with all these samples, and that he feels a presence that he's not alone fighting this thing, whatever
the whole
evil it is.
This whole
fighting
scene in the end is basically the whole wrap up. It's a voiceover of Norton saying the things like he was just explaining to you. And at the same time, it's mirroring between Norton and Father Quinn.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. And like the shots are very similar into discovery.
Yeah.
And just the basic things that are going on with the crouching or sitting or
and I mean
anything like that.
face to face is really good. The hand, the foot, everything is it's drawn very well. And then it finally is revealed what he's gathering it for.
Yeah, and so he was saying, I think I know now what I've been gathering these for, like he was explaining
The samples,
to you, and they show the black barn for the first time.
Yeah.
I noticed every time that they show something evil or something like that, there's always this presence of red.
The red background with the black barn on it, and I mean, the window is red. Like red is a very significant color.
Yeah, upon the first read, you will find that it's obvious that the red means something. But what me and this guy found out when we read it again a couple more times over was that we found a lot more red in a lot more places that
Yeah,
we thought was
we
pretty
didn't
suspicious.
suspect,
but
yeah.
we're gonna discuss that
'Cause
after we're done with.
It shows up more in more odd places in the second issue.
Right. Yeah. But so
Yeah.
to wrap up the
And
first
that's
issue.
basically
Well, no.
Oh yeah. No.
So as Father Quinn is chasing this weird red Father Tom, who's supposed to be dead, he disappears. But what he does find is some blood out there in the field, and that takes him to Jean Tremblay's body, the hooked woman, and she is impaled on her own hook hand.
Yeah. Crazy way to end the first issue.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was creepy, you know, and it isn't. It's not over creepy. It's not too much. Like it
It's
just
not.
gives you.
It's not over the top violent, but it is like the person you'd least expect to be killed is killed the first issue.
Well, what I like too is like I was just getting to is like it's not like all monsters and demons yet. It's more like up here.
Yeah, it's
And just from these first two issues, we're gonna discuss the second one right now. But yeah, it's good.
it's promising.
It's
definitely I mean, I was hooked from the first one, and I was telling this guy, bro, I can't wait until the second one comes out. Finally came out. He read it the day before it came out, and he was like, I liked it.
Yeah, it was.
So we decided then we had to make this video. So the second issue. Where
Okay.
do we pick up on the second issue?
So with the second issue, it starts off with Dr. Zoo and Norton. They're walking in the park discussing his condition, and she asks him why he can't tell her about where the fragments come from, or
What they're
what
for,
they
things
are,
like that, yeah.
or you know what they're for. And he basically, at that point, he's telling her, you know, I don't want to tell you, I can't tell you, I shouldn't tell you because you know you'll be in danger.
Yeah, he fears her safety, but she bargains with him, and basically,
Well, he gets that whim to go.
Oh,
to
yeah,
the trash.
he- yeah,
And
he
she
gets-
sees that as they're walking and talking, and she's asking him this. Then he gets that like that, you know,
that
that
Spidey
twitch.
sense, that I don't even want to call it. Was it the devil's prompting or something like that?
Yeah, the devil's
The
prompting.
devil's prompting. So he's like, I know. He's like, I haven't looked through that trash, and I need to look through that trash. It's part of his obsessive compulsive.
When he gets that whim,
Yeah.
he wants to go through the trash, and she says, "Well, how about this? If I let you go through that trash, you have to tell me what all this is about."
His doctor level bargaining skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he agrees, and he goes to the trash, and he doesn't find anything. And so he's kind of like, oh, well, I didn't find what I'm looking for. So she's like, well, you still got to tell me what's going on. And at that point, he shows her a sketch of the Black Barn. And he tells her about these nightmares he's had as a kid, and he tells her that they are getting worse.
Yeah.
And at that point, we do see the sketch that he made that he must have, you know, pulled from his dreams.
Yeah.
And then after that, it cuts to Father Quinn.
Yeah. So Father Quinn's detained and interrogated by the police because he was the person who discovered the body of Jean Tremblay. And what was it?
Since he's new into town, he's of course going to be the and first on the scene. He's prime suspect.
Highly suspect. Yeah.
Plus his past.
His past. It's revealed that he was actually relocated from his last parish to this one because he was arrested for public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and assault.
Yeah, so since his vices have gotten him into trouble with the law before,
Yeah, and
it's not looking too good for him.
Yeah, and it's revealed that he actually drank before bed.
Yeah.
So it's really, you know, it's not looking great for him right now.
Because they did ask him, they said, well, were you drunk when you saw this? Maybe you were drunk, and he's like, well, I had a couple of drinks before bed, but what does that have to do with, you know, anything? Like,
Yeah.
You know, I saw what I saw, and he tells them actually, you know, that he saw Father Tom.
Yeah.
And it's at this point that the two, the sheriff and the deputy.
The sheriff,
They actually-
Sheriff Clara and the deputy. Sheriff Clara's her first name because the deputy, who is also referred to as by his first name Reggie,
They say that Father Tom was allegedly drowned weeks ago.
Yeah, and that they found his jacket on the banks and his wallet in the river,
In his car.
and his car parked next to it. But they didn't find the body. They figured that it got dragged into the lake, and they just haven't found it yet.
Right. And so as they're sitting there and they're discussing all this, there was the sheriff and the deputy, and the deputy was starting to kind of side with Father Quinn, it seemed. And
it seemed like he had something to say, right?
Yeah, it's like there, he had this feeling like he knew something was going on, but he either didn't know what, or maybe he did. And right when he was about to say what it was and why, he was giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Deputy Ballard comes in.
He got interrupted by another character who is Deputy Ballard, and he actually comes in to say that they found another body.
Yeah.
And who is this body? It's actually pretty interesting, but we can't tell you that.
Not quite yet, but they said that there's been another body found. We cut to Norton walking to his apartment complex, and as he's walking through the front door, someone comes down the elevator, and we found this really weird, that the ding, you can't have sounds in a comic book, and you have to draw them out.
Right.
Well, this one was drawn in red, and as we've come to find, red is a very telling color.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll discuss that a little more after, after all the whole issue thing. But he is right, and now to this point, we're thinking that every time we see red, there has to be some sort of significance to this evil manifestation that's going around.
Yeah, and out walks a guy that's. I call him a great man. He's almost like a janitor type guy.
He's like this chubby, basic looking dude. He puts on a red hat.
Yeah, he puts on a red hat. Another very suspect thing to me and Flip here.
And he also acknowledges Norton. He says hello, which we were discussing whether that was weird or not, because whether you walk by someone and say hello or like.
Hello is kind of formal though.
The way I see it was the way that he was looking at him, and just like I had told him, like there was some weird acknowledgement from the get-go. Maybe it could just be me being paranoid because of the whole horror.
Well, to me, it's like hello is very formal. Like I'd be like, or like just.
He didn't say anything back to him,
like that. No, Norton doesn't.
He didn't say anything back to him.
Norton wouldn't say anything back to him.
But anyway, so he gets into the elevator, and once he goes to his floor, he comes out only to find that his apartment has been broken into. The hinges were broken, the locks were broken, and his samples, as he likes to call them, were stolen. And so we actually get to see his ransacked apartment on this dope 2-page spread.
Yeah.
And the walls in his apartment were actually red. And it was like the glowing kind of red.
That bright. It's not that dull red. It's like a bright, evil-looking red.
Yeah, it's definitely dominant. It's not, just there.
You can't miss it. Yeah, you can't miss it. Yeah, that kind of red.
So then after that, it basically cuts back to Father Quinn, who is now being addressed by his first name, Fred.
By who? The bishop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's on the phone now with the bishop. Now, the bishop is the one who sent him out to Gideon Falls in the first place and told him, you need to be out there. They need you and stuff like that. So at this point, he's telling him the situation.
And Father Quinn is kind of freaking out right now.
Yeah, to this point, he thinks he's about to get,
charged with murder.
Right, take this murder rap. So he's telling him, like, hey, is there anything you can do? And the weird thing about the bishop, he's very creepy, and he has this
eerie calm.
He has that cool calmness about him. And what does he ask him when he's telling him? He's like,
did you do it?
Yeah, he's just like, did you do it?
Flat out asked him.
And he's like, well, no, I didn't do it.
Of course I didn't do it.
Yeah, and he's like, well, then you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And he tells him,
well, can I at least get a lawyer or something?
Yeah, and he's like, no, you don't need it.
It won't be necessary.
Basically, it's basically he's almost like telling him God's gonna sort it out in a way. Like, you'll be fine if you're innocent, guys.
He said,
so it
said that it's God's plan for him to be in Gideon Falls.
Yeah, and in the end, that's basically what he told him. Like, his plan is to be in Gideon Falls, and that the town needed him more than ever now.
And that he has work to do.
And he has work to do. And after he told him that, he just hung up on him. Yeah. Now, I'd like to talk about the bishop again for a second.
Okay.
Because when they show the bishop, they never show his face, even from the beginning when
he's being sent out to
Yeah,
Gideon Falls for the
right.
first time.
They never show his face.
Yeah,
And
they show him talking to the bishop.
right.
He's in his office, I guess you call it.
And this office, he has this big old long desk.
Yeah.
And this big just empty
It really
room, and
it
it
really
seems very
screams
big and-
space. Yeah.
And like there's just this big old map. He's sitting in this like old like.
And then there's
wooden
crosses.
throne.
There's 2 crosses on the side of it.
and,
Like,
it just the whole thing. Like I mean, it seems you see that kind of stuff in churches and stuff like that.
Catholic
But, like,
churches
well,
especially, yeah.
There's something about this bishop that just gives me this uneasy feeling.
He seems like he's in on something. That he knows what's going on in Gideon Falls, and that he's just trying to get someone. Almost like he's pawning it off on Father Quinn.
Right, but at the same time, is that us just being paranoid because of the evil? Is the evil making us paranoid?
Well,
You know?
the evil should make you paranoid. This is
So-
a really creepy book.
Yeah, so we're gonna
Yeah.
be, finding that out.
Mhm.
But as Deputy Ballard is putting Father Quinn into his cell, because they hang up off the phone,
Yeah.
and so he gets put into his cell. He tells Father Quinn that he believes him, and to go see this cat by the name of Dr. Sutton, who at this point we don't know who it is.
Yeah, but he says he's a very interesting, to say the least, person. Yeah.
The only thing that we do know about this Dr. Sutton is that it is a he.
It's a he. He
because-
refers to him by the masculine pronoun. I don't know. That's how he identifies, right? Yeah.
So it's safe to say, at least for now, that Deputy Ballard is taking Father Quinn's side, but he just can't really tell him anything right now, and he actually tells him that.
Yeah,
he can't
that's all
tell him
he can
anything
say.
right now, for basically fear of losing his job and the
He's
sheriff, what the
afraid of
sheriff will
sheriff,
say, because who knows what's going on in this town.
Yeah. It's getting more and more tangled as we go along, which is I really enjoy that part of the story.
Yeah, and it basically leads off with Father Quinn basically he's stuck in the jail cell for now, and he's just like
What do you say, goddamn perfect or something?
something like that. He's
goddamn great.
Yeah, he's not too happy.
He's
about that.
not. Yeah, it's a Catholic priest saying goddamn. It's not a good sign.
So from there, we see Norton interrupting one of Dr. Zoo's appointments. Like he comes barging in, she's talking to another patient,
Yeah.
and
She's like, this is grossly unprofessional and inappropriate.
Yeah.
All these doctor terms that you'd say.
which he demands to talk to her right then and there.
Yeah.
About the break-in at his house. So he basically wants her to acknowledge the fact that these things are happening, and that it's not just in his head. Basically, if you think about it, if you were in that position and you're collecting these samples and people are telling you you're crazy, but you're getting these weird, you don't know why you're doing it, but you're doing it, and then you come home to see these things that you've been collecting, everyone's telling you that you're crazy for doing, for some reason they're stolen now.
Yeah.
And so he's
And not only
basically
that, your door's ripped up.
so he's
it's all
basically
bad.
telling her hey, I'm not
I'm
crazy,
not
there's
crazy.
something going
This is
on.
actually happening.
Yeah, and he said that he had suspected that he was being followed for the past few days, or was it weeks?
For a while, I think he said for a while. Yeah.
So he kind of had this feeling.
Yeah, he is a paranoid though. He does have paranoid delusions. I guess that's why he was committed in the first place.
Right.
Or that and upset OCD, because he is wearing a surgical mask all the time.
Right. And because of that, she thinks he's being paranoid again, and she threatens to commit him once more. The funny thing about it is that he gets all pissed and he bounces out.
Yeah.
Now, when a doctor tells you I'm going to commit you right now because you're acting crazy,
Shouldn't they have someone on staff ready to,
Yeah,
orderly, ready to,
you don't get to say, oh,
Yeah,
screw you,
I'm outta
bouncing.
here.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. So
Yeah.
it's kind of weird.
It is weird. It's definitely, she doesn't really have good control of it.
Yeah, I mean, there should be some no, you're crazy, you're not leaving. But okay.
Orderly, get him. Yeah.
So
what we found out that what else was missing from Norton's apartment was a scalpel. Among all the other samples that got stolen, his scalpel was taken.
Yeah, and with the samples, it's like he was saying, splinters of wood, screws, nails, but why the scalpel?
Yeah, the scalpel. I have a feeling we're gonna find out next issue.
Right.
Yeah.
And from there, after he gets mad and bounces out because she still doesn't believe him, we now see the sheriff and the other deputy, we'll call him Reggie, from before. They pull up to the scene of the second body that was found. And to our surprise, not only is the body that of Father Tom, but the first responder or coroner that is checking out the body, he states that the body's only been dead for about an hour.
At the most, an hour.
Yeah. He also, another crazy little thing is he has one of Norton's fragment samples in his hand, Father Tom, the dead body.
Yeah, he has a nail in his hand.
He has a nail, and then from after you see it, then it's like a more close-up view of the hand.
Yeah, like it's funny, like the round panels. They have round panels, and it's his hand with a nail in it, and it's that creepy red.
Yeah, it's that just explosive red behind like the background.
The same kind of it's the same kind of red from the Black Barn in the first issue.
Yeah,
where it has
like
black
it's
cut
like
into it.
evil red.
It's clearly evil.
Yeah,
unmistakable.
And then so basically it zooms in on the hand and it shows the evil red background. So it's like, whoa, what's going on? Like, we have speculation, which we are going to talk about once we're done just going over the issue. But if you are still here with us, thank you. If you're still interested, actually, that's probably a good time to mention that we are going to be doing all kinds of giveaways and stuff like that. We have lots of prizes, a lot of cool stuff actually. And the way to win some of them is to watch some of our videos, and we will be asking questions randomly about random things about ourselves or
things that you can find in facts that you find in the video.
And if you're the first one to respond, then guess what, you're a winner. So look forward to those. Anyways, would you like to take us to the end?
All right, so we see Dr. Zoo on a populated street in what we can assume is Gideon Falls, the city part, because there is rural and urban parts. It's a pretty diverse city as far as that goes, and it's diverse racially because Dr. Zoo is Asian. We see it's not like a
hot Asian
doctor. And so we see her talking on the phone with one of her colleagues, and she is expressing concern over Norton. She's like, I can't believe like all of this has gone down the drain, all the progress we've made.
She feels like she's losing him.
She's losing him, and that he might hurt himself or other people. Then
at that
it starts to fade into red, and she drops her phone mid-conversation.
And the person on her phone is like,
hello? Angie?
Angie, are you there?
Andrea.
And she's there, Andrea.
And she sees for the first time the Black Barn. And this, keep in mind, this is a Buddhist who doesn't believe in the devil. Who is seeing the Black Barn for the first time. And not only that, so
the cool thing about it is, he mentioned that she mentioned to Norton before that she was a Buddhist and that she didn't believe in the devil, because he had brought up the fact that he thought that this is the devil, and she's like, I'm a Buddhist, I don't believe in the devil, which is the first issue recall. That's what she said. And
it's so unsettling to her that she actually collapses onto the ground in public with people on the street. And we can see that what she's seeing and then what is actually in front of her. As far as like the physical world. And we see in the crack in the door, it's got to be a demon of some kind.
It's something. Why don't you give him a little bit of a closer look?
Here, I'll give you a little bit better view. Like that. That's, man. When I saw that the first time I read it, bro, goosebumps all over the place. That just, it gives you that feel.
Well, because it finally shows us, it gives us something and confirms that whatever this is, it's not good.
It is evil.
It's more powerful than any belief system. If you don't believe it, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's right in front of you.
It's still there, and but it's crazy because she didn't see it up until Norton showed her the sketch of the Black Barn. So just like he had told her from the beginning, he didn't want to tell her because he
felt that it would put her in danger.
And it's clear? Or
It's
really?
confirmed that it
Yeah.
did put her in danger, and all she can utter is, "Oh God."
Yeah.
Like, she,
Oh God.
yeah, she can't believe what she's seeing.
My God.
Oh my God.
But so that basically
That
wraps
is
up.
that's the summary of the first 2 issues.
And it is very awesome.
It is so promising a storyline.
I can't wait till the 3rd one because
I can't either, man. It's coming out next month.
And if you guys
Yeah,
haven't gotten a chance to get a copy of this, I believe the first
issue is in second print.
It's on second print already.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that this story is going to be blowing up. I'm sure it's going to be getting better.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't start bombarding us with that political crap because
that would be nice.
I'm just tired of it. I just
Yeah,
want
I
to
mean-
read and I just want to escape from
That's what I
all
like
this
about
stuff
it.
that's going on and just just get real into the story.
Yeah,
Just,
it's
you know.
not political. It's not like
Yeah.
Infidel.
That we
Have
know.
you seen that story, that book Infidel? It's like a demon that's basically
I've
trying
heard
to
it.
pull off a girl's hijab. Come on. We don't need that right now. We need something that it's escapism. We just need to escape from the crap going on outside.
Right. But you
And
know
this
what?
is it's great.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, like everyone has their own preferences and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I mean, it's just for us, it's just we're tired of it. We want something fun, and we're done with just all that stuff. So this is probably the most politics we're even like bringing up right now.
We
It's
really,
just the fact
really
that-
don't even like to talk about it because we're talking about comic books. We like
So that's
to focus on the story and on the art and the characters and all that. So
right. So now
Okay.
we can start with our speculations.
Speculation. Who do you think Doc Sutton is?
Okay, well, we both came to the agreement. We both think that Dr. Sutton, remember who, Dr. Sutton is the character that Deputy Reggie told
No,
Father
it's
Quinn.
Deputy Ballard.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
the Deputy Ballard told Father Quinn, hey, you should go meet up with this guy. He could probably help you out.
Yeah.
I think that it's Norton.
I also think that it's Norton because he has all of that stuff in his
Right.
his apartment. He actually a microscope confirmed, scalpel. He had other medical stuff. He referred to all the things he's collecting as samples. He referred to his apartment as a lab.
Yeah, so everything
His
he's doing is
lab-
very like
My
Dr.
lab has been compromised.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
mad scientisty.
we're
Yeah.
thinking that Dr. Sutton is
Probably
is
Norton.
And we still don't even know Norton's last name.
No, that's probably what will be revealed soon enough.
And then we did discuss the red.
The red. Was there any other instances of the red that you remember that we didn't touch on? We touched on the apartment, when it appears, like when things appear. I mean, basically, whenever anything evil goes on.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that there was no red when they showed the bishop.
Yeah, that was kind of. It was like greens and grays, you know. It was very muted colors.
Hey, what if?
Oh, and the red.
The red box. What if this dude is placing that thing on him? Because you don't see his face.
Because his face is covered up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very interesting speculation.
Yeah, because we never see the coroner, the first responder's face, and he is the first one there, and there's a red box.
Yeah, there's
a red box around him,
Yeah.
and as he's at Father Tom's body. So I told him maybe he put that screw there. We're just trying to figure out why does he have a sample or one of Norton's samples in his hand.
And how was he still alive?
Like
when he vanished, you know?
Yeah. So what's the connection? What's
going on with that?
We actually kind of think too. Tell him about how we think Norton might black out or something.
Yeah, he might actually black out and do the sinister things, like murdering Gene Tremblay, Father Tom as well.
And then breaking into his own apartment and not remembering.
And he might have broken into his own apartment, taken all the samples, and gone and started building the barn.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. That
Yeah.
he's building the barn, and I think maybe that the Father Tom, I think maybe he found him doing that or something, and he who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
we have so many speculations.
This
and
is just.
it's good.
Yeah,
that's what we like about this book is like it's not just like a dry read. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It keeps you thinking. It keeps you just. It makes you paranoid, obviously, because we think that everybody's bad, and in the book, the characters, and
Yeah.
it's a wild ride so
Okay,
far,
that's
and it's only 2 issues in. So
Yeah, it's only 2 issues in. I mean, what else is there to say, man? This book is, or this series now. It's become a series, not just a book. It's a series. One of the things we look forward to.
Right, and I hope that it's good enough to the point where they actually make it into a show or a movie, because I can see myself definitely getting into something like this.
Yes, definitely getting into it.
So, with that said, is there
That's it.
anything else that you had on your mind about this before we completely wrap it up?
Nah, man, we kind of touched on everything we needed to. Like I said, the next one comes out in May. I'm not really sure when in May, but keep a lookout for it.
Alright, well, with that said, that is it for this installment of Collectors Club Comics. Welcome to the club. Have a good night, or day, whatever you're doing, whenever you're watching.
Cheers.